nigga said, Deidre, you need to get them goddamn bunk beds right now, right now. I said, kiss my ass like right now, right now, right now, right now. Talk about black women all day and all night and all day and all night and all day. Debate other topics like you're lost and you don't know what else to say. You never hear these niggas go on and on about the girls that they claim that they with. Can't say the same about the black women that they don't want. Yeah, you know they full of shit. They say they want to leave. Saying black men take heed. I'm like, nigga, you can go. I'm like, nigga, you can leave. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got the plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got the plane tickets. Bitches don't know about running water. Bitch don't know about cold water. Bitch don't know about warm water. Yeah, there's a motherfucking slaughter. Bitch don't know about body spray. Bitch don't know about coochie wipes. Bitch don't know about deodorant. Don't even know about electric lights. Bitch cooking rat cats and dogs. Motherfucking veggies and snakes. Motherfucking buzzing these niggas. Smiling in their motherfucking face. Bitch can't cook like Bunny. Bitch can't cook like E. Yeah, I got them tickets. Yeah, nigga, motherfucking leave. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got the plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got them plane tickets. I got the plane tickets. Got another nigga to get it. No, nigga, I ain't done yet. Got another nigga to get it. No, nigga, I ain't done yet. Got another nigga to get it. No, nigga, I ain't done yet. Got another nigga to get it. No, nigga, I ain't done yet. Taz, tell him who to go. 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 Fuck, boy, you ain't nothing but a lame ass nigga talking all that shit in the YouTube streets. Mad that your content ain't worth shit and you're trying to resurrect and you're fucking with me. No, nigga, I don't need to hate. No, nigga, that ain't okay. Fucked up that your numbers went down, not on the rumble fucking with O'Shea. The Manosphere built this nigga. Tried to build a network against us. Then Docs 1 got exposed. The goat crying like a little hoe. Nigga only trying to get paid. Fucked up and he tried to get laid. Trying to have secret relations. Struggle of many complications. Asking a woman for an AK. Then you ask again for a 2K. How the hell you the fucking goat and you can't even travel and pay your own damn way? Can't even get your girl hair done. Can't even get your girl nails done. Can't even get your girl's feet done. The Cash Life had to save you on that one. Who the goat? Taz, tell him who to go. 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 What's up, Rizzle Lyricist, Ray Triggs, K de Jour. Welcome, 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 everybody. This is D Darrell, Coach D, aka the Godfather, aka Black YouTube Therapist, also Coach D. Chilling right now. Just gonna have a nice little talk. See my people up in here from the Umar Johnson sector. I see people from the Black sector. Got people from the Manosphere and all adjacent areas. We're gonna have a nice little talk. Nice little talk. Today, man. We're gonna talk about whatever. We're gonna talk about things. I'm gonna talk about the topic. We're gonna talk about married men in the manosphere space and YouTube in general. Also, it will be open topic for anybody want to bring up anything they want to. I don't really give a damn. We just gonna have a nice little conversation. Before I get started, shout out to Riz Lyricist, shout out to Ray Triggs, say peace D Darrell in the chat. Shout out to K DeJour. Shout out to Two Big Skinny Jeans. Who else is in the house? Okay, pretty much up in here. So we're gonna get this cracking. We're gonna get it going. So basically, the reason why I decided to talk about this. What's up, Gabe A? Yeah, I'm on two channels. I'm on my D Darrell Live and D Darrell the Rebirth Live and D Darrell the Rebirth. So I'm on two channels, brother. Dr. Nikki, my baby mama. How you doing, baby? I got something for Dr. whatever his name, Dr. Strange, Dr. Shut Up, what the hell is whatever. You better leave my baby alone. That nigga is weird. And you know what, Dr. Nikki, what was strange? Doctor whatever, the guy was saying that he actually had several conversations with me, which was a goddamn lie. I never spoke to that person a day in my goddamn life. I don't recognize his voice. I have a select few amount of people that I talk to. And usually everybody that I talk to, or I at least chop it up with, I don't just give my number out like that. You know, I'm very particular who I talk to. I at least know you for at least 6 months to a year. I just don't randomly give out phone numbers. So I don't know what this guy talking about as far as, he know me. He was saying my first name. The shit was kind of weird as fuck. It was really, really, really weird. But I hope he just go away. He gets on panels and just changes the whole energy. He just drains the energy out of a live stream. Um, I don't know what his motives are, what he doing in this sector. You know, it's just kind of spooky and shit. I don't know. So I'm gonna just chop it up with you all for a little bit. I'm not gonna be on too long because basically I know I'm gonna be out tonight. I gotta work, take care of some business today. My son has a game today. And I'm gonna be out late with the game. So I definitely won't be working on any content. On this weekend, I will be in Dallas to go visit my other location. I got a bunch of shit I got to do Friday and Saturday. I'm gonna be on the road on Friday morning. I'll be there on Saturday, and I'll be leaving out on Sunday. So I probably won't be doing any content, most probably, um, till maybe Sunday. I'm gonna say Sunday. I probably won't be doing any content till Sunday. So that's basically my plans for the week. And I'm gonna be pretty much tied up. I got things I have to take care of. A lot of things been going on business wise, and it is difficult. It's not easy to do content freely. Some weeks are more, or just easier than others. Some weeks are just more easier than other weeks. So I just try to get it in as I can, how often I can. So we're talking about married men in the manosphere space. We're talking about married men, period, in YouTube. And it's very interesting how married men are perceived in various sectors. Because the way marriage is perceived in, let's say, the Umar Johnson sector is totally different than Black YouTube or the Manosphere. Totally different. Totally different. And I was on a live stream last night. Shout out to my girl Faith. She went in on recognized game ass. And the other day, a lot of people gave a shout out for that. I told her that. Hope you all checked out. I hope you all subscribe to her channel. She was live. She was live last night, and she kind of talked about married men um interacting with the men in the space, and as far as promoting marriage and downplaying some of the negative concepts and the negative talking points that people subscribe to on YouTube. Now, I also did a married men's panel to my girl Mahogany Roots. Shout out to Mahogany. And we had about 5 other married men that were on the panel. And we all talked about the positives of marriage, commitment, long-term relationships, having kids, the role of a man in the home. And there were certain things that we talked about that was highly consistent with what is needed to have a long-term, productive, positive relationship. Some of those things that we talked about were basically anti-red pill, anti-manosphere, anti-whatever. Now, I'm gonna be honest, in the Umar sector, they're married men. My behavior hasn't been the best, I may say, and a few others. I'm not alone. There have been a few kerfuffles going on. I'm not going to, you know, go into detail with those situations, but there have been some situations with married men in the sector or married people, period. But I'm not going to get into that. But when we talk about these issues, should married men course correct as it involves how a man is supposed to function um, in relationships? And when we hear single men or men who are not involved with anybody, men who are basically bachelors, if they're saying misogynistic statements, if they are talking about things that are not necessarily realistic, is it the job or the responsibility of the black men in the sector to correct that and confront that person for falsely describing how a man is supposed to function? Um, I'm going to, in a sense, I'm going to kind of play a little bit of what we were talking about. And I'm going to say, man, I really, really enjoyed the video. And I enjoyed the fact that I was on a panel where Negroes wasn't just throwing out crazy ass ideas and just saying stuff, like you will come across in these spaces. So I'm going to screenshot. I'm sorry, not screenshot, but I'm going to show what the personality of the interaction was like. So I'm going to go ahead and play that as follows.
He taking more than I do. And so the counselor's like, "Well, what's wrong? Why are you stressed out?" She was like, "I don't know." And the counselor's like, you kind of spoiled because I do the most. I know how to cook. I've always known how to cook. My great grandma taught me how to cook. Mainly, my grandma, I knew how to cook. I clean, hands down. I clean better than my wife. I tell my wife that all the time. I said, if I come home early or I don't do certain jobs extra, I clean the house better than you. I said, it's not a knock to you. It's just the thing of it is the way I was raised. That's how I was taught to clean. I don't just wipe off the countertop in the bathroom. I will wipe off the counter, clean off the mirror, clean the floor, everything. If I get to start cleaning, I'm gonna clean everything, and it's just different ways. Somebody else clean a little bit, come back tomorrow, clean the rest. I mean, like I said, hands down, my wife is spoiled. Like, and I spoil her. Anytime she be like, my friends told me one time, he was like, man, didn't you just go out of town last week? I like, yeah, my wife, she wanna go somewhere else this week. He's like, dude, you done took 3 trips and one. He's like, you only got 3 weekends. He said, if you got one more weekend, you're gonna have a trip every weekend. I was like, well, I might don't go next week because that's hitting my pocket. But at the same time, if she wants something, to a degree, we kind of work out the budget and we just go for it.
So as you can hear here, man, like for those that are watching, as you can see, you're hearing a man who is working with his wife, helping her clean, cook. He's basically taking on a lot of roles in his household, and it sounds like to me he enjoys doing that. It sounds like he enjoys that. Um, Key things that was very consistent. A lot of the guys on that screen, there's four of us. A lot of us talked about how we treat our wife. We talked about spoiling our wife. We talked about trying to make things easier for them and being very active in the household. And we talked about doing things with our wife, the time, quality time. And I think that it is important that people listen to and understand what positive long-term relationships and marriages look like. I'm going to go ahead and continue.
But
No, I'm gonna say this and welcome D sweetheart to the
Yeah,
panel.
what's up? What's going on, Kate?
What's up, baby?
Hi,
I
everybody. What's up,
oh
Alonzo?
What's happening, Captain?
All righty.
I want to say this. I did think about you, but these gentlemen, we did this so random this morning. I was in Sheets chat and I was like, I think I want to do a show with you and these men, and they just agreed to it. But you definitely did cross my mind as one of them. Joe
Okay.
Deb, yeah, Joe Deb, I know you're married, so if you want to hit the panel, any married man can hit the panel. I'm going to go quickly since now because I want to give everybody a chance to say a little something, and then I want to ask you guys some really kind of intimate questions to make it fun. But so D, what you missed, I would like you to tell us how long. I kind of know, but tell the people how long you've been married.
So I think when the time I was away in school and stuff, I thought about her a lot. And I tried to date other girls and stuff like that, but I would still think about, her and stuff like that. So I think that's when I kind of realized that was the one. And, we eventually, she ended up getting pregnant like a year after that, about 2 years after that. And then, we definitely took the relationship more serious. And, and when we went in school and stuff like that, as I was going through, developing myself as within my field and stuff, she supported me a lot in that process. So that's kind of when I realized she was kind of not just one instance, but it was just gradual things over time. Um, as far as things that I do for her, like she's spoiled as spoiled as can be. Like
She just said that.
spoiled is crazy. Like I mean, I'm talking. Also, just like my brother, is that how do you pronounce she? We here?
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Okay. Like now I don't do the cooking, but everything else, I was very, very she really, really appreciated me as far as with the kids, around the house, keeping things together, around the house, particularly especially with the kids. Um I did a lot. I was probably more active with the kids um in their formative years.
and even the early, I say up until maybe third or fourth grade, because the type of jobs that I had working in mental health were it allowed a lot of flexibility, and it allowed me to do a lot of different things while I was at work. And she had a job where it was not that flexible. So during the week, I spent a lot of time with the kids, and she definitely appreciated, like, you know, and I had two little girls, you know, that was my first two kids were girls. And you know, she appreciated the time I would take out with the kids and do little things that they wanted, and stuff like my little girls like to do stuff, and you know, stuff that little girls like to do, you know, and I would always, you know, take them to do little things like that. And
The shoe section really for men, right? There's only a couple of but they do have the shoe section for women. So like I'll go to Macy's and like go shoe shopping for her because like I can't get, but I like to go to the store and spend money. So
right,
I can't do that for myself. So I gotta buy stuff for her.
right, yeah,
Right.
and, you know, that was big because I remember, man, because like when I first like started doing stuff like really like once my career started taking off, or once I became licensed and stuff, I like to do, like, you know, it's the timing of things. I think it's not always, you don't want to saturate gifts, but the timing of it can be very valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say she, you know, like the guy was saying, as far as his wife being stressed, and we got to understand. And I'm a therapist. I know you went to you all saw a therapist and everything, and so sometime for women, we got to understand that um the stress that we can't see, or a person, like everybody looking the outside looking in, the stress can just come within just trying to make sense and trying to just cope with life itself. It doesn't have to be necessarily one specific thing. It could be just a summarization, or just a whole lot of things going on at one time. And you know, at that point, you just, you know, just kind of stressing and trying to be at a certain level. You know, when we create standards for ourselves and how to do certain things, that trying to keep that level is stressful in itself. And so it's so, yeah.
My bad.
Okay, but yeah, but yeah, I try to, like, I know, like, we talk about, like, as far as a woman being a helpmate to a man, but I think that's also reciprocal. I think we have to be a helpmate to each other. And I think one of the things for me, like, I don't have a problem with, like, babysitting, cleaning around the house. I don't cook. Cooking is the only thing I don't do. But everything else, I'm willing to, whatever you ask me to do. I'm not going to pout about it. I'm not going to complain. I mean, I look at it as this part of being a man.
I wanted to repeat what D. Durrell just said. For me, I pretty much do everything. I cook for the kids. I take care of the kids. Just like D. Durrell, he has a flexible schedule. I also have a flexible schedule. But there's one thing about being married that you must understand. I have 3 kids. So your wife, the one thing about women is they have to do the laundry and fix this and, get the girls' hair done. So by the time the end of the night, they're mostly tired.
Yeah.
So as this goes on, you have to understand your wife, like especially when it comes to sex and marriage. A lot of some men do complain, like, I'm not getting what I'm supposed to get. So, and sometimes I do understand that. Sometimes some women are tired, but you have to start understanding, what if I'm looking for something, what do I need to do to get what I'm looking for? One thing with women is when they're in the house, right? When they're in the house, they are focused on the kids. They focus on everything in the house. So we begin to have a program. So what I start to do is we take the kids, drop them off at her sister's place, and we go on vacation. Just being her. You know what I'm saying? And when you take a woman out of that normal day-to-day from that house, she's somebody else on vacation. She's not nagging. She's not thinking about work. She's not thinking about the kids. It's just you and her. So you can get whatever you want to get, whatever you wasn't getting the last 3 months, you can get it. You know, that's why most people are scared to get into marriage, because these types of issues come up. But you have to find some things that is going to work in your marriage. So that's what I found in my marriage, just like what D. Durrell said. You have to find a way to work it out and figure it out.
Okay, so I want to stop there and notice. I just want you to see the difference for those that are in that space. You see the level of competency among the men, in which we're talking from a very realistic and logical standpoint. We're talking in a manner that is not, emotionally driven and triggering. We're not trying to get a rise out of people. We're basically saying what is real, what is consistent with most everyday relationships. We're not saying anything out of bounds, anything that's going to make you scratch your head and wonder what the hell he meant by that. I think that the things that were talked about, you're seeing men who are helpful, who are attentive, who understand, who are leaders in their own household, understand the importance of working with their wife. When you see people talking about relationships, more times than none, these are people who actually failed at relationships, or they never had long-term relationships, or they're bitter about past relationships. On this particular panel, most of the people who are actually talking about relationships are actually good at relationships. They're actually consistent. They're loyal. They're stable. They provide security. They value family. That's the difference. That's the difference. And also understanding that these type of shows don't get as much attention. They don't. These type of shows don't give you the views. And I'm looking and I can see now, like, the numbers that I have today, and I know I just did a short impromptu, but the numbers reflect that. Most positive orientated content that reflect relationships usually don't get views. It usually don't get the attention. People kind of tune it out. People don't want to hear that. And so one can only think that in these spaces, the reason why it doesn't get attention is because the people that hear this can't relate to it, because they are not in those type of relationships. You're seeing 4 men here. Okay. And all 4 of the men here, all these guys have been married at least 10 years or more. Now, I personally know the guy on the top right, K. I've known K for years. I've known K for a long, long time. And I've actually talked to him offline. I've been talking to K since 2019, 18, 19. And we work in similar fields. And I've actually consulted with him before professionally on some things, starting a program for my company. What's up, Mahogany? Shout out to Mahogany. Guys, if you can, could you please subscribe to Mahogany, Roots, and MJ? Very, very good sister. Very, very positive. easy to talk to, very friendly. She does great content. Check out Mahogany's content. Please subscribe to her. I think it was a wonderful idea for a woman to facilitate a live stream on her show about married men talking about relationships. And look at the contrast between the men who are married and other panels where none of the men are married. And as each person talked, a lot of the men, even though they were saying things in their own words and different experiences, there was a lot of consistency and similarities among all four men. All four of us. We all had similar situations. We all treated our wives similarly. We all are family orientated, even though I think Aaron, I don't know if Hall has, I don't think he has children, but I do, Kay do, and the other guy does. Okay? We all were open to doing whatever it takes to maintain a positive household. And Mahogany says, yeah, it was cool. It was a last minute. Yeah, it was last minute. But that's fine. Just like this show I'm doing now, it's kind of last minute. I decided to do this show while I had time because I'm going to be basically probably ending the show in about 20 minutes. But there's consistency among the men. There's consistency among how we go about just the whole framework of how we go about life and taking care of home, the responsibility of it. Nobody demonized anybody. Nobody was name called. Nobody was trying to find the imperfections. Matter of fact, most of us basically said no one's perfect. We're not perfect. Our wives are not perfect. Nobody was pointing the finger. Nobody was doing anything, demanding things. Nobody was being domineering. Nobody was saying abusive language. Nobody, as men, was operating their home like it was a dictatorship. Hockney said, well, I would have, invited BMT too if I planned it. Well, BMT said some very interesting things, even though BMT actually has done married men panels in the past. He hadn't done one in a long time, but he's done them. He's created those live streams before. Now, last night we were on the Faith Factors channel, and we talked about how men should function in the space and correct guys and confront them about the negatives and the wrong things that they say towards women. And BMT was actually a little bit against that because he's done that. And he was like, I'm not going to police other men. I'm focused on myself. I'm not going to get into these kerfuffles and arguments and fights with men, verbal fights over the way they're supposed to function on YouTube. And I really, really get that because I've been in positions in the past where I promoted marriage. I promoted how men should behave in the home. And particularly when these things are not consistent with the red pill ideologies, these Negroes get, they get really, really offensive. They start getting disrespectful. Then you find yourself going at it with people. That's basically what happens. So I understand where BMT is coming from because in doing that, you're also having to deal with a lot of BS because the guys don't like stepfatherhood. They don't necessarily promote fatherhood. They're more about identifying what Pookie and Ray Ray is doing, but they all claim to be high value six-figure Negroes that got it made. They don't talk about the totality of what it takes as a man to operate his household, and they don't talk about kids either. They don't even talk about, even though they claim they want a legacy and they want to pass down their legacy, their family, they never talk about that in detail. They never talk about that. And the reason why is because they don't have a real example. And none of them, at least most, overwhelming majority have not even been close to getting married, better yet having a date. So they can't really talk about something they never experienced. So in speaking to these guys in the red pill spaces who have such animated opinions with lack of experience, personal experience, life experience. Hold on, guys. Can y'all hear me? Okay. It's kind of okay. All right. Without those life experiences, I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Okay. They should not be at the forefront of trying to tell men, particularly young men, how they're supposed to carry themselves in these relationships. But they are. Those type of guys are actually dictating the conversation. There's a guy that I knew in the space by the name of the General. The General was married 5 times. Ex-military. Married 5 times. And of course, the General talks about just bitter behind those marriages. We've had discussions about how I don't know whether or not his experience could actually be beneficial or it could be actually a hindrance. Because when you talk about relationships, it's always the woman's fault. And it's never his fault. And this is common among those who have been married in the past and been divorced, those who own child support. That's the stuff that those are the types of issues that the men deal with. Child support issues, child custody issues. But no one is speaking from this is how to maintain a long-term relationship. So when you're hearing married men talk about it, notice the difference, a large difference, a very, very significant difference, a difference that is more relatable for men and women to listen to. And it's grounded in truth. But unfortunately, that content is not what's popping on YouTube. So we want to keep up the gender war. We want to keep up all the silliness that goes on because that's just more entertaining. That's what got YouTube popping. But what you do see on YouTube, you see a lot of what I would say controversial or atypical relationships. You're seeing people with polygamy, polyamorous relationships, which make up a small, very small minority of of relationships. You're talking about people who have open relationships. Open relationships are not common in our culture, even though they do they do occur. Swinging, those things do occur, but that's the minority. That's not the average. In my opinion, the topic of discussion should be more of the average or the types of relationships that are more prevalent and that you visibly see in our community, not the over the top radical, over the top type of relationships that are not necessarily consistent with the culture. And that's the issue when you're on social media, because you have all these people who have all of these strange views, and they read this book or they read that, or they saw this, and they come up with these talking points that don't necessarily translate into long-term relationships. And a lot of what the red pill talks about discusses the fact that men should operate from a patriarchal standpoint, have family, have a wife that's submissive, and he handles everything. And she quote unquote rests in her femininity. But when a lot of women hear this, and for the women in the chat, like Mahogany, let me know, what they're hearing is that the man is domineering. He don't listen. When he come home, he don't want to do a damn thing. It's basically all up to me whether I'm working or not working. I'm expected to basically slave and work the hell out of a woman. You don't help her with anything that she needs help with. You basically treat her like she almost like a slave, and you require all of these things while you put out the minimum. You don't listen to her. You don't relate to her. You don't try to do things to impress her. But from a red pill mindset, doing those types of things to impress, to make her happy, well, that's simple. That's the difference. That's the idiot-like behavior of some of these guys. And that's the reason why they don't have success in relationships, because they don't understand how their personal makeup and how they function with women is actually the reason why they're not successful. But shout out to Mahogany and for her doing that, and I hope that she continue to do these types of shows and continue to grow with that. I definitely will be there. So I wanted to point that out. I wanted to kind of talk about that live stream because I thought that it was worthy of discussing. I'm gonna play one more clip, and then I'll be done, and I'll just kind of call it a day.
So that's what I found in my marriage. We have to go out of town. We don't have to stay in the house, you know. So that's what I discovered about my marriage.
Awesome. I think I'm gonna be honest, all of you guys, and I know you just joined us, Steve, but these men, including yourself, have been giving a lot of jewels. And I'm gonna recap everything at the very end, but I love it. But since I was gonna ask one more question, but I think I'm gonna jump straight into the game. And then
okay. Ask the question. Ask the question.
That's the question.
Well, the game is gonna be I guess the next question would be is obviously you guys are glad that you did it, but there's a fair culture that I'm noticing on the internet that everybody's just afraid. What if it doesn't work? What if it don't last? What if they divorce me? How did you guys get over that fear and say, hey, I'm gonna take the chance? Like, what made you want to do it and be separate from maybe your friends or other people? What made you?
I'm gonna answer for all of these guys.
Okay.
probably wasn't listening to the internet when we made that decision. So,
Right.
but go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, really. So that was it.
Right? And you keep our secrets. And
Aw.
I realized it was like this. What else really there was nothing else out there, right? Because this was my friend. That like and we're still great friends, right? So here's how good friends we are. My wife is a football fan, as am I. We have NFL Red Zone. My wife is dedicated to watching NFL Red Zone every Sunday. She
Wow.
is a Giants fan. I am a Patriots fan. And we still got married. Okay.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's so much stuff and dynamic that has to go on, and this is the stuff that sometimes it happens faster for you. I met my wife and we became boyfriend and girlfriend when I was 25, similar to Kay, but we had a different living dynamic. I didn't have myself together. She had herself way more together than I did. But I started getting myself together and I'm like, yo, what am I doing? Right? Because this woman is here in my corner. And I think like Kate, like she said, you get a good woman every once in a lifetime.
Yeah, I think people think that good people come a dime a dozen, and that's just not true in the world we live in today. It's just not.
I was always working. Like that was my biggest thing. As soon as I came out of high school and I was about to go to college, I started making a ton of money straight out of high school. So I had the decision to either go to college, have a little debt, but still have, a degree behind me, or I can just go into a field and just start making a ton of money. So I chose that path to make money now. And a lot of my friends, when they was getting out of college, like I was making more than them, out the gate, straight off the rip. But, I kind of took a back seat to that because I wanted to be home with my kids. That job put me in a position to travel more. And that's the thing with a lot of people in relationships. They think that time is gonna wait for them. Man, I'm gonna live my like this cliche thing, the young girls and the dudes saying, man, I'm gonna party in my 20s, settle down in my 30s and 40s. Why not settle down now? Why wait till you get older? That time is not promised to nobody.
I want to stop and lament to the fact that there are a lot of people who think that in life, when it comes to relationships and developing those relationships, that life will happen in a order that they see as fit. And that in life, you can pretty much, even though I do think it is important to plan, that things are not going to always go in concert with the way you think it should. Like there are going to be issues and roadblocks that come along the way. Now, the guy she pointed out that people say, well, I'm in my 20s, I'm going to focus on this and that. Then I'm going to do all these different things, and then once I do this, then I'm at a certain age. Then I can think about getting married and working on that. And unfortunately, life doesn't always work like that. There's always things that will happen that are out of your control. There's always particularly a crisis or some other issues. Like there's always things that come about. And unfortunately, when you have these things that come up, it gets in the way of the way you plan things. You have to adjust. You have to understand that no one truly knows when a crisis or some problem is going to arise that can change your trajectory of what you want to do and when you're going to uh want to get married or settle down. For myself, just looking at myself, I had planned that once I finished my education, I would want to get married. I didn't necessarily put a time frame as far as age and and things like that. I just basically said I wanted to finish school first before I got married. I didn't want to go to school and get married while I was in school. Although there are a lot of people in the majority culture that actually do that. For me, I saw guys when I was in college, particularly undergrad, who got married and then they end up quitting school and they got a job and they took care of their family. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to establish myself educational wise and then get married. And so I got married at the age of 27 and I was out of school. I think I got married like 2 years. Yeah, I got married 2 years after I finished my master's degree at 24, 25, and I got married 2 years later. But that didn't also go as planned either, because I also had to delay some things because we moved after I went to, we moved from Louisiana to Texas. I wanted to get myself established in Texas financially, find the right job, and wanted to work on my licensure, and I do all these different things. I ended up getting married a year later than what I wanted to. And that's just how things happen. Nothing is not going to always go perfectly. It's not going to go in sequence the way you envisioned it. And so there are sometimes people who thought that, well, I'm going to get married. I'm just going to do certain things. I may want to get married in my late 20s, but then you don't really get married till you're in your late 30s. These things happen. And I do think that creating a timeline or at least a plan is nothing's wrong with that, because you do want to have plans and goals, but you do have to understand that those things are not going to always happen the way you want. Mr. Sheed basically prefaced the fact that if you already are in a good situation now at the present, why not take advantage of the present instead of waiting for the future just for the fact of waiting for the future? And I kind of agree with that. I think that philosophy also can work. There's no use of just wasting time just for the fact of wasting time.
Right, right.
And
So-
here's the thing. Oh, my bad.
Now go ahead.
Here's the thing. No woman is perfect. Your wife, all of us are going to have, all our wives got something that will just piss you off. And you're like, what is you this woman? You know what I'm saying? But so doesn't mean you should pack your bags and move out and run. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's no cheating. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. With the people on the internet, they make it seem like going to another country to get a woman solves all the problems. A woman is a woman anywhere on the continent that you go. And not only that, they're going to bring a woman that they'll have to take care of. They'll have to get her green card. They'll have to pay for her school. Maybe she has to go to school. They'll have to feed her, clothe her. She has to establish herself when she moved from one of those third world countries to America. She has to establish herself. And once she's established herself, she will have a choice to move on and find somebody in her own from her hometown, or just leave you in general. There's no woman out there that's perfect. Sometimes we as humans, like all of us right now on the panel, when our wives met us, when all the women that we married to, when they met us, most of us wasn't perfect. We wasn't working good jobs. We wasn't, dressed professional. You know what I'm saying? It took time for us to build our careers, buy a house, fix your credit. You know what I'm saying? It takes time to build with people. When me and my wife, we started, we was broke. We lived in a small apartment. Then we moved, then we got better jobs, government jobs, bought a house, bought a new car, start businesses. It starts from somewhere.
Now, what Kay pretty much is illustrating of how a couple can build with one another. And he's using his relationship as an example of how his wife and he started at a certain level. Okay. It was not a situation where you hear online where everybody think before you get with me or marry me, you got to be making $100,000. You got to be a high value man. You have to be making $200,000-$300,000 in your 20s, which is unheard of. Even in your 30s, most people don't make that kind of money until they're in their mid to late 30s, early 40s. And that's just facts. Most men do not make that kind of money till the latter half of the middle to latter half of their career. Nobody comes out the gate out of college, for the most part making that kind of money. He gradually talked about how they didn't have a lot of money, lived in an apartment. They got good government jobs. They saved and bought a house. Then they started investing in themselves with businesses, and they started doing other things. And that's how a lot of families build wealth. Very similar to my situation. I did not have a lot of money coming out of college. My career did not go, which I kind of already knew it was going to not be as successful in Louisiana. That's why I moved to Texas, where I knew there were a lot more opportunities. Okay. I knew in Texas I would have more opportunities. And when I moved to Texas, doing the same position that I was involved in Louisiana, I automatically got like a $15,000 pay increase for doing the exact same job in a different state. So the best decision I ever made economically was moving out of Louisiana and moving to Houston, Texas. If I wouldn't have done that, the domino effect wouldn't have allowed me to where I'm at today. But also in that, I explained to my wife the positives and my overall, as far as my outlook in the future of what I can do there versus what I would be doing in Louisiana. She was very hesitant, didn't really want to move because she loves Baton Rouge. Okay. And she wanted to stay in Baton. And I like Baton Rouge too, because it wasn't that far from where I'm originally from. And it has a higher African-American population. Baton Rouge is like 56% African-American. My college was there, Southern. It was a lot of stuff that I enjoyed doing in home. The food, everything was great. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back. So we made, a major change. Shout out to Doe Eyes TV for the $10 super chat. Also, Doe Eyes, I love the premiere that you did, Doe Eyes, on the guy who was married. That's also what kind of was a precursor to me creating this live stream, is that you created a live stream. You had your premiere with the guy that was married like 6-7 times, and he had a memoir. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to buy his book, Doe Eyes. I'm going to actually maybe buy his book, read it, and I may review it, because he actually talked about his experiences and his failures in his relationships, and how he loved. I think he said wife number 4 was the one he loved the most. And he's actually moving to Houston. He actually mentioned that he moved. He was moving. I don't know if he's already moved here or not, because I don't know how old that video was, but I know I've seen him on your channel multiple times. Okay. I see we got a whack ass Negro that can't get his website together. I would like you, Recognize Game, to maybe get someone that's in tech and fix your website. Let's focus on that. That's been exposed. No more Umar Johnson criticisms, Recognize Game. You killed that last week. You killed that shit. Oh. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that, because as men, if we're planning to do these things that are life changing, things that can change your future, long term, affecting your family, you can't do that unless you have a wife that's on board and she believes in you and she feels like these things are obtainable and realistic. Far too many times you have black men who create ideas and dreams without a plan and structure to achieve that. Like, if you want to open up a business, then you need to have a roadmap of explaining that to your wife, because 9 times out of 10, your wife will be helping you in that process in some fashion. A lot of the people that I know that have small businesses have wives who work or take care of something at some capacity, either in the infancy stages or through the operational phases, to get things going. Most people I know, they have a woman working and assisting and doing things for them in that process, because they're vested. And these women understand, I'm helping my husband, I'm helping our family. His success is my success. When I started my business, my wife didn't necessarily, she didn't do like day-to-day stuff, but at the beginning, she did assist me in some things as far as picking out getting furniture, picking out stuff, paperwork, some of the paperwork related things. She did a few things. Now, once I became fully established, years later, she's been working, my wife has been working in our company for 8 years now. And I've been in business for 15 years. But most small businesses that I know, and people that have these small businesses, they work, their wives or spouse work and do things at some capacity. Most of the time. And so that's, to me, I think that's something that people can understand and look at, because there's a lot of superficial ideas and attitudes that are just not realistic. And I think that when you hear a lot of this nonsense online, it leads to the same negative or unfulfilled outcomes of people complaining, mad, upset with the person, the negativity, all of those things. Okay? So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bail out. I think I had a nice little discussion. Wanted to come on not too long. I was on for about a little over an hour. I just wanted to have a small discussion and talk about the video. I will, again, I may go live later on today, or maybe do some other. I doubt it, but I may not do any content. If I do go live, maybe Friday or Saturday, maybe, but definitely not tonight. I'm gonna be on the road tomorrow, but definitely no later than Sunday. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you all for being here. Y'all have a great day.